Hey there gamers, Mark the Lone Gamer here, and we are back in Kingdom Come Deliverance. We are still in the town of Ushitz, which I previously thought was pronounced Ushitz. And we're just killing a bit of time. We just learned to read, which apparently took just a couple of hours. But now, Henry here is literate. So I was thinking we should go and check out the crime scene again, where we found the body of Limpy Lubosh, and see if we can read that bloody writing on the wall. I am thinking that we needed to learn how to read before we could find out what it actually said. And if I remember right, that place was just over the bridge. Let's hurry a bit. Guy in full armor running full tilt. I think this is the place. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so they took away the body, which is a bit of a relief. Is there no prompt to read? Alright, all I can make out is a Z and it looks like a B. It's either a B or an R. You know what? All I can think of is Zbigniew, the name of the guy, our fellow Skalitz villager who turned bandit. You remember him? With a shovel in Skalitz. That's the only thing I could make out from there, possibly what that could be. Let's take these, we can sell them. Let's take the cobweb, because why not? Some cheese. Taking the cheese. Let's take some food. Not too much, because if we take too much it'll just spoil. How is our... We are very nourished, so we don't need to eat. Alright, let's put the food away. To our horse. Oh, why are we overburdened? Yeah, because we got some new stuff. Alright. We actually didn't check this place out. What's inside here? More hides, which I guess we can take and sell. Alright. Let's put them all into our trusty horse. And we stole them. They're marked as stolen. Come on. There's stuff that we can sell to our friends the millers. What's in here? Can't open this? Maybe? Alright, is there anything here? It's a barrel. Axe. Who lives here? Apparently inaccessible. Butcher. Alright, the butcher. Wait a minute. That Lumpy Lubosh was gutted Maybe the butcher had something to do with it.
What's
Hello?
I hope I can be of help to you, knight.
Yes, we are a knight.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Of course, ask away.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Well, now I think of it, I hadn't seen him around for a while. No idea where he was skulking.
It's the same thing.
That's all.
Alright.
Thank you.
Can we buy anything from him? Maybe we can sell stuff. Apparently not. He's selling bacon. Smoked bacon. Durability is days, 3 days. Prime beef cut back. Maybe dried meat. We can buy dried meat from him. And his durability is forever. I think we should buy some of these. Let's keep running. Maybe it'll help our endurance as we run. How about you? Hey.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Ask away.
Alright.
Who was this Lubosh who was murdered?
He was a drunkard and a beast. And lazy too. Idle hands are the devil's tools.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
The only thing seemed suspicious was how a rogue like him suddenly started going to church. Now I see why, of course.
Do you know who Lubosh used to spend time with? Kin or friends?
He was always a loner. Except lately, he started talking to the parish priest, of all people.
Alright.
That's all. Thank you.
God bless.
I guess it's just the priest. But there's still a marker, so maybe there's still something we can find out.
Hey, is someone there?
How about you? You.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Ask all you want, lad.
They're kind of different.
Who was this Lubosh who was murdered?
Those that live by the sword, die by the sword. I'm not surprised the end he came to.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Everything about him was suspicious. I always gave him a wide berth.
You're very wide-eyed.
Do you know who Lubosh used to spend time with? Kin or friends?
I don't know, since I don't go to alehouses.
Alright.
That's all. Thank you.
Ale houses. So I guess we should visit the tavern. We could find the tavern. We could find it. Where was this place? Some farm. It's still... I mean, this marker to learn more about Lubosh is everywhere. It's this entire place. They expect us really to check every single person. It's kind of over. Let's talk to him. Hello. Hello, villager.
I am honored that a knight such as you takes an interest in me.
I'm not interested in you, but well.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Sir Hanush gives a job like that to a young fellow like you? Well, what do I care? Ask.
Huh.
That man Lubosh who was murdered, what was he like?
He was a strange one. Always drinking, bad-tempered. Lord knows how he made a living. Well, maybe now I've got an idea or two.
At least this guy has a bit of a different response.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
I didn't see much of him lately. Not even in the tavern. Not till yesterday in church, as it happens.
Alright, still the same
Do
thing.
you know anyone Lubos used to spend time with? Relatives or friends?
I really don't know. As far as I know, he had no kin. I never saw him with anyone.
Alright.
That's all. Thank you.
Slightly different response, but pretty much the same thing. How about you?
I've come in the name of Sahanish of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Ask all you want, lad.
Who was this Lubos who was murdered?
Those that live by the sword
it's the same thing.
die by the sword. I'm not surprised the end he came to.
Alright.
That's all. Thank you.
God bless.
So, now I don't think we'll be finding anything. Are you the bartender? Innkeeper, alright.
I'm honored that a knight such as you takes an interest in me.
I've come in the name of Sahanish of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
I don't know nothing about it, but you can ask all you want.
That man Lubos who was murdered, what was he like?
I didn't really know him. He kept to himself, even in the tavern.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Come to think of it, he was in church yesterday. He was even talking to the priest and went to confession. I was wondering what he was up to take to the faith all of a sudden. But I suppose no sin's too dark for God's mercy.
Do you know what Lubos was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
I was coming from the tavern very late that night, and
Ooh.
I caught a glimpse of someone entering the village. He looked like he was in a hurry. It was only a shadow against the sky, but after what happened, I wouldn't wonder.
That's all. Thank you.
Let's ask some stuff.
Is there anything suspicious going on in these parts?
Indeed there is.
Aha!
Around here, you should hear about what Vashek the groom has been up to at the stables. When the head groom told the lads here, they fell off their seats laughing. And that's not all. Just last night, Father Godwin was here, calling fire and brimstone down on old Gertrude, the herb woman. He's not one to make a fuss over some trifle either.
What? Alright, whatever. So I guess we just have to wait here a bit. Well, let's not wait in the rain, I guess. So... Alright, there we go. Come on.
One fair for me.
Father Godwin.
The blessings of our Lord be...
And with you, lad. Take a seat.
Alright. Let's talk.
Are you serious?
Take a seat.
There. Satisfied?
Alright.
One ale over here, please.
I'm sorry I can't tell you everything. But maybe we can work something out. But first I'd like to hear something about you, my son. With whom do I have the honor? Where are you from?
Alright, let's try to tell him everything.
I'm from Skalitz.
Oh. I'm sorry. What about your kin?
They're dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Here. We'll drink to them. It must have been terrible.
It was terrible. It seemed so pointless. We had no warning. They just appeared and began the slaughter. God knows why. They killed anyone who didn't make it to the shelter of the castle. The parents, the girl, even the Deutsch who was on Sigismund's side. I didn't make it to the castle. I wanted to try and help my parents, but there was nothing I could do. Then I fled to Talmberg with the Cumans on my heels. They almost killed me. They slaughtered people in the surrounding villages. There was a pile of bodies in front of the church in Rovner. Folk who tried to take refuge there, but
My poor child. May God grant them eternal rest. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanush to send that old grouch, Bernard.
he did, but I found a witness and the trail led here to Ushitz, so he sent me here to follow it up.
Ah, well, congratulations. It's nice to see someone using their head to find things out instead of torture. We'll have to drink to that. Now the most important thing. What actually happened at Noyo? The good folks hereabout are saying all kinds of terrible things, but I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
The rumours aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill. They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. I'm sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarrelled among themselves and broke off the attack. And judging by what's left of our Lubosh, they're still settling accounts.
I see it's every bit as bad as people claimed. Dreadful. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to die so pointlessly and so terribly.
I've told you all about me. Now it's your turn, Father. You don't look much like our parish priest at home. I noticed you're pretty handy with a sword. I wouldn't expect that of a man of the cloth.
You know what they say. The Lord moves in mysterious ways.
But this is a bit more mysterious than others.
Let's just say I haven't always been a priest. Fate led me to places where affairs were settled by force.
You were a
These
knight or a
days, of
warrior.
course, it's just a bit of exercise to keep me in shape.
Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional seal. Do you really want more innocent people to die?
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted to do it again. If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone, and that's worse than even the most hideous crime.
I understand, but that means I've reached a dead end. Those cutthroats will strike again, and I can't stop them.
Chin up, lad. I might have a solution.
Okay.
If I tell you what Lubosh told me, I'd be betraying the confessional secret. But first thing tomorrow, I'll try something I think might help you.
Word of honor?
On my soul.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his congregation. Where on earth do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Ushitz is in Prague. It's not enough to instruct people. They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard. So what do you preach to your flock about?
It has to be something topical. Condemning vices. And, of course, describing them in detail. The tongue-lashing about the two popes goes down well these days. And stories from real life, with a nice moral to them, are popular as well. Especially if they're about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Can you give me an example?
Well, recently a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague, in the Czech language, and the people liked it. I hear he always has a full house. The journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison. And nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour every grain of gold and silver. They know no mercy. Their hearts are corrupted by longing for wealth, and they shamelessly profit from everything. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? pay and you will have absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? Would he ascend to heaven too? With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper them. They gamble at dice and dress their whores in expensive furs, while Jesus Christ walked barefoot and had no place to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too. Amen.
Well, this Jan Hus character is quite a rebel.
Oh, the congregation will love it.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Funny. That last bit reminds me of someone.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Huth preaches against the prelates and the clerics who are robbing the poor. Look at me. I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach to. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them and curse those stuffed habits in Sassau Monastery.
Sassau Monastery.
What do the common folk think of it?
They like it. They're happy to hear someone say what they think themselves, but are afraid to say aloud. Things that make them angry. And they're calling for change. In a few years, it'll have grown beyond control. You mark my words, the people will rise up, and the church will be shaken to its very foundations.
Yeah, unless they burn him at the stake first.
Nonsense. They can't burn a master of the most respected university in Europe?
Don't you think it's a bit odd when someone boozes and lives in sin with a woman and then criticizes the Pope for debauchery?
No, I don't.
What do you think of this Jan Hus?
He's certainly a wise man. A little overzealous for my taste. If he got out of Prague and came here for a look, I'm sure he'd stop condemning drinking and lying with women.
Where can I find out more about his teachings?
You like it? I copied down some of his sermons. If you're interested, you can read them at my presbytery.
All right.
Thanks for the sermon, but I think I've been morally uplifted enough. It's getting quite late. What are your plans, Father?
What do you suppose? We have a drink, of course.
That sounds like a good plan.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
All right. Still don't know what he's going to tell us. I hope we don't have to wait again. Are we gonna learn? He's a priest.
Enough of this!
Oh, shit.
Bailiff! Come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us. Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone. So what? So, I'll have you all whipped, and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can ride is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out.
Oh, well. Oh, come on.
You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
Oh, come on. We're gonna fight the bailiff. Oh, well, I guess this is probably how we'll get the information from him. Alright, come on. Alright. Whoa, come on. Whoa, at least we're winning clinches. Ow. Right. Oh well. Find the bell tower. What?
I'd love to.
What the hell is going on here?
Right, Henry. Stop that nonsense, Godwin. Are you out of your mind? What will people say?
They can say what they like. What do I care? What do they do to me? Watch the step, my dear. Careful, you don't hurt yourself. Here we are. Look at this beauty.
Oh. We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
What is going on here?
This is wonderful.
Oh shit.
Ah, bloody hell.
And now, my dears, comes the climax of the evening.
What?
Godwin,
So we had sex.
Come here.
Hopefully not with the priest.
Oh.
Oh my. Alright, this is
Priest has mounted up.
going to be censored.
Shall we take a little ride of our own?
Alright. Henry has finally become a man. And in the company of a priest, no less. Wow. We have our stuff. Oh my god, this priest is the devil himself. Oh, alright, we are not in a good way. Father Godwin. Apparently we can't talk to him. Alright.
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
That was crazy. But, well, we earned his trust. Let's see what that gets us. Oh, no. Who are you?
Godwin, you beast! Get up! Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards!
Whoa. Fucking hell.
Where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. And we have a wonderful time.
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick.
Oh,
you
no.
haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh, step on in my head. Oh, my guts.
poor suffering stomach. Ugh. What was that woman on about? Wait, before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I?
What the fuck was it? Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me. I'd like to help you, but you can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No. No, I've got it. Suppose that Sir Radzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there.
Oh, shit.
Henry, look. From what I remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night. And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishop's gonna have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it. Stop gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh. How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
This is the most roundabout way to get to this point, but fine. Now what are we going to do?
Well, alright. I can't make any promises about what'll happen.
No, neither can I.
Whoa.
What do you want me to do, exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday in the tavern, and that's that. No need to drag it out. If it turns out well, I'll tell you what I know about Lubosh.
Christ almighty. Fine then. We have a deal.
Wonderful. Let's get to it then.
Alright. Let's do this. And first, let's put on our clothes. Don't think we need to put on our headgear. Alright. Alright. Now, I don't quite remember what we need to say, but I guess we'll just wing it. Well, at least he's walking straight. There's a bit of a bounce in his step. Alright. One of the more unusual quests. Oh.
I thought he'd never show up. The swim pole.
Look at him. He can hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you wait.
Look at him. Mother of God. Any minute now, he'll throw up.
So I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
Henry's just enjoying himself. Alright.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem.
Do not drop the
In
crucifix.
sanctas, at venerabiles, a manus suas.
Oh God.
Hac facite in meam commemorationem.
Well, she's nice.
Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz. who is here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where, by the grace of God, was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So, Henry, you may begin.
All right.
Curious which one of them will cue first.
So, all right.
Brothers and sisters, let me get straight to the point. I'd like to talk about the church and how corrupt it is.
That boy has a cheek.
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not God. God is above all things, and the church is but a means to salvation, which the prelates do not care to hear.
He's right.
It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, enemies, injustice, hunger and chaos, failed harvests, fires, floods and other catastrophes. And it is all due to
come on.
the corrupt servants of God who do not practice what they preach. They think sins can be washed away by money, and they sell indulgences, and that's bad. Because sins cannot be redeemed with silver.
Prague didn't do much for his confidence.
And what sins? They live with harlots and keep concubines, even though only marital intercourse for the purpose of procreation is pure. If someone takes a woman or man only to satisfy their own lust, who seduces them to do so but Satan? And how much darker the sin if that man is a servant of the church? Who can turn his face to God, who fornicates and then puts on priestly robes?
Nothing we don't know about already.
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you only pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates. Away with them.
We're fortunate to have our good father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
Greetings, Henry.
God sees what is happening on earth, and he is filled with righteous wrath that those who should seek the salvation of souls instead seek mammon and the idle comfort of lucrative posts. Blessed are the shepherds who share the poverty of their flock, who are as one with you and bear with you the burden of this earthly pilgrimage, who do not condemn your venial sins.
Aye, all honor to Godwin. Let him drink like one of us.
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
Did that go well? We failed one part. Alright. Well, it looks positive.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that was.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a silver tongue.
I don't suppose I'll ever get to Prague. He told him nicely.
Alright.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side.
I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin.
So gluttony. And fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubos tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you...
Well, now Lubos came to me shortly after it happened. And his conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out? Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubos kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubos killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko, Pius, Timmy.
Pius. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Riki from
We'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
What a priest. I think he was a former warrior or soldier, probably. Much like our father, he had a peculiar and long history. Okay, that was a pretty unique quest. Alright, it's been Mark the Lone Gamer, and we'll continue Henry's story in the next video.